Hello and welcome back to the wood shop with part 4 of the desktop organizer. We've already created our block, we've laid out our lines, done our cuts, and bored our holes. So the last step is to chisel in these final details. I have the 2 curves to make on either end that I've already traced in there. That's pretty simple chisel cuts. It sounds complicated. It looks difficult. Believe me, it is not. It's very easy to do. What will take the most time, actually, is finessing the final detail inside these slots. I don't like that my saw line came out a little bit crooked. I don't like that these are not that smooth in there. That we can easily take care of. This one is not going to get perfectly smooth because this will be end grain. It will never be quite as nice as a nice side grain, but we can definitely clean that up and make it look a lot nicer, and hopefully get my phone to slide in there and hold nicely. And then after that, it'll be on to applying your favorite finish. So I'm going to stick with the half-inch chisel I've been using because it fits in here. At least it's supposed to fit in here most of the way. And it will take care of both of these in one pass. This is more than 1 inch wide, so even with your 1-inch chisel, you're not going to be able to cut across this and do the curve in one shot. I wouldn't recommend doing so anyways. You really don't want to take off too much at a time with the chisel because that will just cause problems. It'll be harder to cut, right? And you want your cuts to go easy. You want it to be smooth. If you have to fight the wood, you're doing something wrong. So all I'm going to do is start off, we'll start fairly shallow here, okay? And somewhere in front of my line, and just tilt the chisel up and push. I mean, this is soft pine. I don't even need the mallet yet. And just start taking off that corner and working my way back, shallow passes up here, and start tilting it more and more as I get to the end. And about here, I'm going up at about 45, and at this point, I want to go ahead and get the mallet. It is a little tough to just push. And then come and look at the side there and see where I've got. So I'm almost to my line at the start back here. In fact, I will go ahead and just put it on the line, give it a nice ease over, and just start carving that down. And then come in with the mallet to do the steeper. And in fact, I'm going to bring this up a little bit in the vise so I am operating at a more level angle. Of course, it would be nice if it would stop moving. Get that really snug. There we go. Do as much as I can by hand. And just watching that line carving my way down to it. Just keep your hand behind the chisel at all times. And yet, as low and close to the edge, notice I'm not holding way back here. I have no control back here. Control the chisel from the front. And just watch that line. As you go, and adjust the angle accordingly. Oh, I'm so close. I'm so close. And just like with the plane, once I have gotten down to and gotten rid of the pencil line, I know I'm done. I clean up that inside corner ever so slightly. Keep favoring that outside. And that's not a straight line. That's it. Okay, there we go. Well, that is just about as perfect as I'm going to get. Good enough for me. Well, how did that happen? I did something crooked, that's how. Shouldn't have been using the hammer yet anyways. Can do most of this with hand pressure. I can use the palm of my hand, an impromptu mallet as necessary. It is a little tougher. You can see that dark spot there. I bet this was close to another knot or something, some kind of change in the wood. That is in my way. Just making things difficult for me. But not too difficult for the mallet. Right there. Push across. And the nice thing about one outside radius is you really can't push the chisel too far. Because you set your angle and you push through, this is always going to be up higher than your piece. If you're having trouble, then go and have these. All right? Take just half at a time or part at a time, and then come in and match the other half. That is essentially what we will have to do on the other side. Okay, we're getting really close to that line. This last bit here, right up here, where I'm basically going across the grain, that is the most difficult. And probably means my chisel is not truly as sharp as it really should be. Because if it was, I wouldn't be having trouble with it. That's why we always say the sharp tool is the safer tool, because it doesn't lead to you trying to push too hard. Okay. And now that I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and pare in. So press the chisel flat against the inside cheek of this cut. I can see inside there a bit of a line right here, probably where I stopped my initial saw cut and then started going there. So I want to go in from this side and take that out. So this is the lower half of that face. This is the upper half. So I'm going to start here and pair that in. Yeah. So we'll flip it this way. And just keeping it pressed flat against the cheek. Go kind of diagonally across the grain here. Don't want to go straight down. Well, maybe I do. There is definitely, oh, I can definitely see a little bit of a knot inside there. Well, that's the diagonal from this guy. There was a very steep angled branch shooting its way in there. Oh, he's making things difficult for me. Okay, we'll just come in from this side then. Tilt my chisel a little bit to get it to bite in before leveling it out. Always keeping my fingers behind the chisel blade. Okay, and we can do the same thing to the other cheek. Gonna come in, scrape that smooth. And from the other side. Okay, that was the easy part. The hard part will be this bottom of our slot, the top edge there, because that will be cutting straight across end grain. I think I'm going to tuck my piece a bit deeper in the vise here. And we can give this a little mallet tap. That's okay. Vice says no. Tighter. Break through that. Okay, at this point then, Vice is not helping. We'll go back to our chopping block. And we will work on paring straight down. So I'm applying pressure to my chisel to hold it tight up against the edge there. As I try to cut straight down across those fibers. Don't want to blow all the way through. If you hit all the way through with your chisel, it'll grab these fibers and tear them out. And you'll get that splitting out like I almost did earlier. So we don't want to do that. But I do want to make sure that this comes all the way back to our stop line. There we go. So holding the chisel tight here at half the blade so it does not shoot all the way across the piece. How is it in there? We're getting there. It's kind of the final step here, so take your time. are almost done. This is what sets this apart. This is where we find who took the time and care to make something really look nice versus something that was just a rush job. Right? These are the fine details that set the real quality to the next level. Right. Some of this, like this pitting in here, there's not really much I can do about that. That is the wood being very weak, right? That's that. I'm thinking some kind of like a bug damage, or maybe some kind of a dry rot going on in there. Same thing from the top. There's our actual line, so I do need to go a little deeper with this. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay, take it out, chop vertically. That looks a lot better. Looks a lot better. Almost. I just want to make those meet up nicely in the middle. So it is nice and flat all the way across. That will do. So much better than before. All right, then before we get to that one, let's go ahead and do the other curve just to change things up. And yes, you could absolutely grab a larger chisel at this point. In fact, I would probably recommend it. But I'm going to be ornery and stubborn and use one chisel for the whole job because I can. And it's the little things like this. That make it fun for me. Obviously, I've already made one of these before, so on a personal level, the challenge is not can I create it? Challenge is, can I create a better one? Or can I create it using a different technique? Can I make this with a more limited tool set? Right? It's like replaying your favorite game on hard mode. The shifting vise is not helping much either. So where it would really help to, of course this one is a little thicker than that one, so I don't know that would be the best idea. Let's see if we can find some other scrap here or pieces of scrap. Maybe we can wedge these in. How about this? In there, and then squeeze tight on both sides. There we go. That's much better. Okay, so I want to start kind of on one side, right, where I can see the line, create those cuts, and then just work my way across the piece and match those cuts across here. And we can also check our curve from the other side. Well, I know that technique worked because it's really tight. I want to do the shallow part here by hand. Well, it's all done by hand, but without the mallet. In the back here. Work my way back and forth, left to right, and then adjust the angle, work my way back to the other side. Tilt the angle, move forward, back to the other side. That squeak is a reminder that I should sharpen the chisel. So let's, whoops, not there. Return to our sharpening kit. And just retrieve the strop. For a light touch-up. And this you can do by hand pretty easily. You're very unlikely to, almost very difficult actually, to change the angle on here. You want to tilt this up, of course, until that's touching, but just a little bit higher. You'll know your angle is too shallow if when you scrape, you get a whole bunch of green stuff built up right here. That means that that's the leading edge that is hitting the strop, and it's not hitting up there at the cutting edge. So you want to tilt up just a little bit higher than that, so that's the back edge, the actual cutting edge of the chisel, that is making the most contact. And just hold that nice firm pressure. Good 20, 30, 40 strokes even. Get that nice and shiny up there. And then about 10 or so on the back will be sufficient. 1, 2, 3, 4. Always hit here and then down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that should cut a lot easier now. Oh yeah. Feel a huge difference, especially right here. And this gnarly part. I'm now at a very steep angle, and I am cutting this without the mallet at all. No problems. Ooh, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Oh, that pulled out. Weak wood tends to split. Be very careful. Always cut towards your center. You never want to grab. Remember, these are straws. You never want to grab the end of the straw and push it towards the outside edge of the block. That's what I did there. I went at a bit of an angle towards the outside. I pulled that. Those weaknesses will present themselves. But I think, oh no, I can go a little bit lower here. And a little bit more in the middle. That looks good. That feels good. I like that. We're going to finish that off with the rasp. But first, this middle bit needs some fixing. So let's try clamping it down. Now I know I need to go basically straight down. So I'm just pairing with the chisel. Straight down. Oh, I'm going to bump into the side there. I don't like that. Let's go back to the chopping block. A little bit freer. Straight down. Woo, that was close. That was close. I slid back this way. But that is not a perpendicular. Should not cut you. I want to go that way on the line. Let's put that in. Right there. Not sure how much of that you'll be able to see. I put it on the line right there, and we're chopping down sideways this time. Which is a little easier to manage. Yeah, rather than go down all the way across here, which we could do. Still pare down from there. My fingers up here, out of danger. Just slice. Those end fibers. I think that will do. Okay, those walls are pretty smooth. Now it's just down to that bottom, which is a lot easier to clean up. I will go ahead and do that in the vise. Now that my slot is properly fitted to the chisel, I can place it. I can feel my line that I cut with the marking gauge. We're going to go still above that. I want to save that for absolute dead last. And just clear off this waste. Kind of work my way across. The real challenge here is just maneuverability. My chisel fits exactly this way, but tilting it does not, because the chisel has thickness, so the diagonal is longer. So I can pull it back out, turn it, try to cut the ends of those fibers so they are freed from the rest of the block, and cut our way in here. And now I can go to the actual, oh, come on, there it is. line originally made. Notice I'm only going halfway into the block. I don't want to shoot out the other side. That will tear things. So now let's come into this side. I don't have as much room here. Come on. There we go. Yeah, the fact that I cannot fit the chisel all the way down tells me this is not actually a full ½ inch all the way down. So I still need a little more paring down the sides. That's okay. There we go, getting there. A little more right at the very bottom. Now we're moving. Now we're clear. Find that line. Pair horizontal. Have my fingers here as a brake so I don't shoot all the way through. And I think that's about as good as it's going to get. We have that knot right there, so that corner is always going to look a little funky, but that's an optical illusion. Point is, it feels mostly smooth in there all the way across. So I like that. The only way to deal with inside here, you can see that it is a bit rough, would be with sandpaper on a really skinny dowel. And I don't think I actually have any dowel. I've got ones that are barely smaller than that. You want something about half that diameter to fit in there and do it justice. So I'm going to call that block. We've curved the edges. No, we're not done curving the edges. We can do one better. We're done with the chisel. We're done cleaning the inside of there, but we can get a rasp and make those just a little bit better. So I like using this guy because it's got all four. It's got curved and flat, both rough and smooth. So we'll pop this guy back in our vise. And I left just a little bit on the outside there. The rasp will take care of that very quickly. This will finish the job that we started. And then we'll switch to the smoother side. And smooth it on out. So we get a nice even curve all the way across. And do that to the other end. I think I'm just going to go straight to the smoother. Really nice for dealing with end grain here. Just kind of finishing out. It's smooth surfaces, but I can feel all the little facets. It doesn't feel like one continuous curve, where this lets me move in a continuous motion and make it truly round, taking out all the little imperfections. Of course, maybe you like the faceted feel of it. You want the more handmade look. You want to see the tool marks on there, in which case, forget the file. You can just leave it as is. But I think that is going to do it for now. We have but one more thing to do, and that is cover it in finish to seal it in and get it that extra shine and protection.